And we're back.
And we're back. Yeshiva's Gula Show. Wartime Zoomshteig 181. In the schus of the soldiers, in the schus of the captives. Baruch Atanu Achlam, Shkol Ni'avrai.
Amen.
Wartime Zoomshteig 181. Sponsored by the Eibishter. Chaim Yanks. Welcome, Chaim Yanko. This is the last ever Wartime Zoomshteig. And so, 181 is the gematria of Tzaifeh. Slashon Tzipita Yeshua. Kadosh Baruch is going to ask because we're looking for Yeshua, we're looking for Geula. And so, 181, I wanted to say, before we start this shtickle, I wanted to say a giant thank you to DVJ, Tati and Sons for making Wartime Zoomsteigs possible. Thank you to Harry and Schlegs. Thank you to Ush. Thank you to my dad for coming to Shiurim. And thank you, of course, most important, to the Rebbitzin for helping get us to Wartime Zoomsteig 181, Gematria of Tzaifeh. And we are Zeiche to start the Gemara. We are on, well, actually, I'm in this, we're in this Gra, right? We're in this Gra in Perush and Kama Gadais. It is Daf, I don't even have my Gemara because I don't have my thing because we're just going to do it from the Gra today. I want to say Daf Ayin Ches Amud Beis in Bava Basra. But maybe the Rebbe can bring me the actual Gemara so I can just double check that and blibe until we do. Okay, so today we are still working on getting the Pshat Gemara and the Rashbam. So the Eibishter will give us Yat Dishmaya. Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachman, Amar Rav Yochanan. Says Rav Shmuel bar Nachman, says Rav Yochanan, my dichsiv, what does it mean when it says, Al Kain Yomru HaMoshlim? So the pasuk in Bamidbar, and it says, "Oh, it's the one in the ukulele case." Thanks. Al Kain Yomru HaMoshlim. They're like, Al Kain is like because of this. Since yes, on yes, Yomru HaMoshlim, the Maishlim say, and they said Bo Cheshbon. But we're going to see, the Gemara is going to darshan, and we're going to see all of the drashas. Al Ken Yomru HaMoshlim, the Gemara says, HaMoshlim Elu Moshlim B'Yitzra. So we saw some of the Gemara, and now we're going to see the Gemara with the Rashbam. As it is brought down in the Gra, in this parish in the Gra. And then, if there's time, maybe we'll see some of the Gra. But I think today, we're just going to end Wartime Zoomshteig. We're going to get the Pshat Gemara Rashbam. And we're going to say Shkach Gado and Tzaifeh, Tzivisa Yeshua, and Kvias Itim L'Taira, another question that they asked. Okay, so what does it mean Al Kain Yomru HaMoshlim? So, it says, My Dichsiv Al Kain Yomru HaMoshlim, says the Rashbam Gomer. He says, Pshate Dikra Mairi Kishet Nilcham Sichon B'Melech Mayav. Okay, so, when Sichon was fighting Mayav, Harishon, the first one, right? V'yikach his kol artzo, and he took his whole land miyadeh from his hands. Nisnabe bilam v'chaverav sheyinatseach sichon l'moav. So this is actually these psukim that we're saying. Oh yeah, they're like random psukim in Bamidbar, the chayra. And I know. Listen, if we had a chumash that we could look up and see the and see the whole context of the pasuk of where those psukim are, that would be great. But Yid may do with the cards been dealt, and maybe in the future we can see that. But for right now, because there is a future, shteig and da. Okay. HaMaishlim is the Maishlim v'Yitzon, the ones who control their Yetzer Hara. Now everyone has a different Yetzer Hara. at a different level, and everyone has to be able to control the Yetzer Hara. So says, but this pasuk, this is talking about when Sichon was fighting Mayav, and it was a nevuah of Bilam that Sichon was going to win. Umihu, however, Parsha Yisirahi, it's extra. Demat Sarich Likasav Zeh. Who cares? Why would you need to write this? Imla Hashmi'enu, to teach us the Ammon v'Moav Tiyaru b'Sichon. If you're going to say that the reason they're teaching me this pasuk is to tell me that Ammon and Moav were Tahor b'Sichon, meaning Sichon took over Ammon and Moav, and so then therefore Ammon and Moav, maybe they're not really Ammon and Moav, and they don't have the same din that doesn't let them marry into Klal Yisrael. It's interesting that they didn't say this pshat by David HaMelech. They could have said they were Tir B'Sichon, but they rather say no, it's not Moavite, not Moavis. Okay. Hare Kvar Ksiv, it's already written. V'hu nilcham b'melech Moav, Melech Moav Harishon. Ve'in tzarich yoser. Right? They already told us that there was a fight, and so I could infer that they were Tir, that Ammon and Moab were Tir, that they were purified, that their genealogy was already like erased and hidden, and so now they can marry back into Am Yisrael because like it's already I think that's what it means. That they're mitaher, they're Tir by by Sichain. Okay. But we already have that pasuk. So the rest of the pasuk, the next psukim that are talking about, there's no reason to write them. The answer Hilkach, therefore, Lidrasha Kasva Moshe Rabbeinu, one of the most unbelievable things I've ever read in a Rishon. That's not Rashi. Lidrasha Kasva Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu wrote this for a drasha. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu write these words in the Torah Kedaisha? So that we will make the drasha right here, right now. So the Chazal will make the drasha, and we will make the drasha. Okay, so the drasha that Chazal makes, that we're trying to understand, is that when it says the Moslim, right now, Yomru HaMoslim, what's it talk about? The pshat of the cry is the rulers of Sichon, and they're saying, let's go to Cheshbon, this town called Cheshbon. I know it's wet.
It's like soaking. Like what is that?
It's Kedusha probably from
Like
Tzfaz.
it's on your book.
It's okay. It's only the outer cover, and it doesn't matter. Okay. And not the outer cover of the book. That is chashav, but it's the outer cover of like some English translation of the book. That I'm not saying that it's not geschmack, you know. Okay, I just saying that we're not learning it here. She was Gula Shal, you know, over here. All right. So anywhom, so it is Moshe B'Yitzra Tzadikim. So the drasha is Moshe is telling us a reference to Tzadikim. Dichsiv Moshe Barucho Meluchad Ir, that that controlling your spirit. Meluchad Ir. How do you conquer a city? You have to control the spirit. You have to control your ruach, your wind. Now, this is Wartime Zoomshteig, Tzaife. And Tzaife is also Lashon Tzipia Yeshua, of longing and yearning for Yeshua. And that's the Lashon of Tzfas, Yer HaKodesh. And so it's crazy that we're reading about Ruach here. Moshe B'Ruach, what is it talking about? To control the spirit. It says, Tzadik Moshe B'Yiras Elohim. Right? So it says, it also talks about Tzadik and Moshe, and it talks about Moshe B'Yiras Elohim. It's an interesting question. In Shiva School Show, we spoke about Yira a lot. We're not going to get into it now, but it's not a PASHUT sugya. Okay, so it says, so the Moslim, the ones who are controlling their ruach, how do they do it? How do they control their emotions? It's so hard. Sometimes the neurons are shooting like crazy. What's a yid supposed to do? Bo cheshbain. Step back and consider, think. Cheshbon is like making a consideration. It's obviously from the Hebrew word choshev, which is to think. So bo cheshbon, bo v'nechashev, and now we see that same word bo v'nechashev, and we will make. The nun at the beginning is also plural in the future. Nechashev, anachnu nechashev. We will make the cheshbon of the world. Cheshbon or what cheshbon? Cheshbon of the world. Hefsed mitzvah keneged schara, schar avera keneged hefseda. Okay, so what's the cheshbon shel olam? It's hefsed mitzvah, losing. You're gonna what you're gonna lose out from a mitzvah according to how much you're gonna gain. What you're gonna gain from an avera according to how much you're gonna lose out. What does it mean losing a mitzvah? What does it mean gaining from an avera? How can we even say the words like this? Zak the Heilige Rashbam, the Heilige Rabbeinu Shmuel. Hefsed mitzvah she misbatel mirevach b'shvil she'osek b'mitzvah. Sometimes a person could do a mitzvah and he could miss, like he could be like, oh, like I can either make money or I can like do this mitzvah, and he goes and does the mitzvah, he lost money, but like yes, we lost from the mitzvah, but like what did he gain? He gained chayil ma'aba, he gained shleimus. Mitzvah onas and tzedakah, or another pshat that the Rashbam gives is that when you give tzedakah, technically you are losing, but think about what you're gaining. Keneged schara hamaruba la'asid, but like la'asid level is much better. That's what the Rashbam says. V'schar avera shelo lishtakir be'avera achshav keneged hefseda sheyafsid yoser la'asid. So you don't want to make money. You don't want to make money in an avera right now. Keneged, right? Like so, right? Like so. The schar avera, you're gonna say, I'm gonna make money now. I'm gonna rob this person. I'm gonna deceive him. I'm gonna take his money, whatever. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. You know. And a person could think that at the present, this is great. I'm just making all this money. But then think about like what a person's losing. He's losing shleimus. He's losing more. La'asid, it says in the future. Now, when we talk about the future, we like to talk about la'asid lavo after we die, maybe. But maybe la'asid is just like think about the like the ramifications of our actions. You know, think about what will happen if we act this way. La'asid, just take into consideration the future, the ramifications, right? And but also like a person will say, oh yeah, but the future ramifications, as far as I can see, will be great if I steal this money, because still, think about like la'asid, like in the classical sense of like when we're standing before Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we're giving him din, you know, and then like that money that a person might have taken is like nothing, you know. He's standing for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then
Was it worth it?
So was it exactly, Rebbe? Was it worth it? Zak the Gemara, veiter, zak the pasuk veiter, tivne v'tichonin. We said, okay, yomru hamoslim bo cheshbon tivne v'tichonin. Therefore, the rulers, we said the rulers in their yetzer, the ones who control their yetzer, how did they do it? They say, bo cheshbon, let's make a cheshbon sha'olam. Let's really think about, let's think about what this world really is. You know? It says, tivne v'tichonin. Is the hemshech of the pasuk. It means we will build it and we will establish it. Im ata osekein. If you do this and you do a cheshbon and you make calculations and considerations and you think critically, tivne ba'olam hazi, you'll be built in this world. V'tichayim ba'olam haba, and you will be established in the world to come. Now we know olam haba is machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Shmuel. Who says this, Maisa, right here? Amar Rav Shmuel, Amar Rav Nachman. It's not Shmuel, Amar Rav Yochanan. I said it's not Shmuel. Rav Shmuel is not Shmuel. Oh, this is Rav Yochanan. Okay, it's good, because Rav Yochanan and Shmuel have the machlekes, but not Rav Shmuel, it's a different guy. Rav Yochanan and Shmuel, the first generation of Myra in Babylon, have machlekes about Olam Haba and how it's going to look. And it's interesting to know that this is you will be established to Olam Haba according to Rabbi Yochanan. We don't even know what Olam Haba is going to be. Ayin lo rasa, he says. Okay, Ir Sichon, next pasuk, or two pasukim later, the Gemara, I have the thing, everything is fine. Ir Sichon is another pasuk that they're going to darshan. Im mesim adam atzmo ki ir zeh. If a person makes himself like this city, shemehalech achar sicha na'eh, that he goes after good speech or beautiful speech. It doesn't say good speech, it says beautiful speech, and we don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Beautiful speech. What does that mean? So he walks after the sicha. So ma'ksiv acharav ki eish yatsa micheshbon. So then it will be right. Teitzi eish mimechashbon v'tocha she'ein mechashbon. So maybe sicha noeh, good speech. Maybe good speech is like a good thing. Let's see what the Rashbam says. Hold on, actually, since I can have this, I can like sit back in my chair, pretty givaldic. Make sure my Ki ir zeh shemet pate beyitzro v'divrei apikores ve'eno moshe beyitzro. I think sicha noeh is propaganda. It's good. It's well. It's a certain type of propaganda. Obviously, there are many different types, but sicha noeh here is like this. If a person makes himself like this city, like Sichon, what is this sicha? They walk after sicha noeh. It's so the Rashbam says ir zeh, this city shemitpate beyitzro, that they give into their yetzer hara ubedivrei apikorsim, and to the words of the heretics. The Eino Moshe B'Yitzro, they do not control the Yitzhara. So if a person makes himself like this, so then it's going to be the rest of the pasuk. Ki eish yatsa micheshbon. The eish fire is going to come from the city of Cheshbon. When the drasha that Moshe wrote this for was to tell us that teitzi eish mimechashvin v'tocha es she'ena mechashvin, the fire of the people who are calculating and living life and analyzing and thinking about things critically is going to go and eat the people who are just following sicha noeh, who are just mehalech achar sicha noeh. They go after nice words. No, there's no pedophile satanic ring trying to destroy us, worshiping Molech, Ovdei Avodah Zarah, since the beginning of the Roman Empire. Doesn't exist. Don't be a CPT. Don't be a conspiracy tig. I don't like that word, but that's what they say. That's what they say. They like have this thing. Oh, what, bro? That sounds like conspiracy to me. That's what someone actually told me when I was asking him yo, you see this thing about Bill Gates, the connection with Jeffrey Epstein at the beginning of the pandemic? I was asking him. That's what he said to me. He said, bro, whoa, that sounds like conspiracy. We're brainwashed not to think. Mehalech achar sicha noeh. So, not Moshe B'Yitzro. Teitze eish mina mechashvin. So the tzaddikim is going to eat the eina mechashvin. The fire is going to burn the ones who are not calculating, who are not thinking critically, who are not thinking about this world, who are just going after, oh, okay, fine, well, it sounds good in the moment. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in prison. Oh, yeah, that makes, he committed suicide in prison. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And by the way, even the murdered in prison is also sicha noeh, of the controlled opposition, because really, he's probably still alive. But we're blaming. So they're going achar sicha noeh. It's going to eat the people who are not mechashbin, the people who are just going along their merry way and not thinking about life and not asking critical questions. Kidamrinan bepirkin de'el, like it said above, kol echad v'echad nichva michupaso shel chavero. Now that's fascinating. What kind of raya is that? He says, well, we're going to have to do more research. I hope that this is not the last time we see this grad together, or this, the sugya together. But we don't know. But we're going to have to do more research on that Rashbam and that Zoomshteig, that everyone is burned from the chuppah of their friend. Those are the ones that are not mechashvin. Maybe it's not kol echad v'echad. Kol echad v'echad is all the riffraff, the kol echad v'echad. all the riffraff, they get jealous, they get burned, they see someone else getting shlemas, and instead of using that shlemas to encourage them to grow and to shteig more, they get burned from it. Yeah, that's kol echad v'echad. That's how everyone does. That's default setting. It gets burned, right? But that's not the tzaddikim. That's the people who are not mechashev cheshbono shel olam. So he says chupaso shel kata michupaso shel gadol himenu. So here I like my pshat better. I mean, it's Rishon. I'm not gonna say that, but here he's saying that the chuppah of someone who has like a smaller chuppah is like jealous of someone who has a bigger chuppah. Whatever DVJ joke about chuppah could go here. So the hemshech of the pasuk, v'lahava mikir yasichon, and flames, fire, lahava, midivrei sichon. They're telling me lava. I gotta give an example of a lava. This is a lava. It's a flame. Wait, what? Here yasichon. Didn't you just tell me in the last pasuk, in the beginning of this very pasuk, actually, it said ir sichon, and it says if a person makes himself like ir sichon, that they're walking after sicha noeh, they're walking after good speech or propaganda. I think it's talking about flattering speech. Yeah, telling people what they want to hear. There's nothing's going on. These vaccines are to help you. The government wants to save you. You know. That's sicha noeh. That's lies and propaganda. That's freaking Colbert singing vaccine. Yimach shemo v'zichro. Colbert. Very evil. Very Shmuel. Okay, anyways. So V'lahava mikiryas sichon, and the flame from the town of Sichon. Cloud spy. Town of Sichon. Ir Sichon, they said at the beginning of the pasuk, and then it says ki eish yotze micheshbon, because fire is coming from Cheshbon. V'lava mikiryas Sichon, from the town of Sichon, but they use a different word. At the beginning of the pasuk, they call it Ir Sichon. At the end of the pasuk, they call it Kiryas Sichon. Kirya is like a village, right? Town, village. Basically the same thing. But why does the Torah use these words? Anyways, it's talking about fighting that has nothing to do with Am Yisrael. So why is it in the Torah? Moshe Rabbeinu told it to us so that we would darshan it. This is big stuff. So they call it Kiryas Sichin, right? It says Mikiryas Tzadikim, talking about the town of Tzadikim, Shenikru Sichin, that are called Sichin. Okay, one question we have to ask is that, wait a second, the first time they told us that Ir Sichon, when they told us about Ir Sichon, they told us about that it's Sichon Noah and it's propaganda and it's bad and they darshan it badly. But then they say Kiryas Sichon, and then they say, oh, it's drasha good, because the tzaddikim are called Sichin. Achla Armayav. So Hemshech of the pasuk, or the next pasuk, it says that they ate Ar Moav. I think it's Ir Moav, the city of Moav. That would make sense. Zeh hamahalech achar yitzro. That's someone who goes after his Yetzer Hara. Ki ir zeh shemahalech achar sicha noeh. So really, propaganda and people who are brainwashed, and everyone who was like very like brainwashed into getting the vaccine, not the people who got it for like reasons that like they were just confused, like, and you know, some people they really brought in the fear of death, and so people were like doing whatever they wanted, and so, but those people who follow the propaganda, the sicha noah, are following the Yetzer Hara. They're walking after the Yetzer Hara, because the Yetzer Hara wants to believe that everything's fine and the government's not poisoning us with fluoride. And the government loves us, and they would never make a pandemic and kill and buy ventilators and kill people on ventilators. Well, that's the Nazis. That would never happen in America, they said. So what does it say? It says, the Rashbam, Sinikru Sichin, the tzaddikim are called Sichin, and it says Ilanot. Oh my God. Siach, כמו בלב השתאגה, שעת ציפור נגמר עכשיו עוברים לאהבה, סוף צבא ראש השנה, אני בישיבה, התחלתי לעזוב את הדת כי היא עשתה לי רע. עוד מעט נגמר היום, אמנוס מדיכאון, בן זונה, אני יונה, מינוס הקיקיון, שוחחתי אל האל, leave me the fuck alone, לא מוכן להשתתף, תמצוץ this dick היום. אוהב את הייסורים, תמצוץ מהדיק היום, אני אוהב רק ציונים, תן לו את הניסיון. אני בבית האסורים, אין איש פודה את עצמו. למה הוא בחר בי? כי אני גאון, או בגלל שאני מפגר? תן לי קצת היגיון. ואז עוד סיבה שהוא היכה בי בקרדום, בגלל שהתכוונתי להתאבד בסוף היום, סוף דבר, הכל נשמע as האלוהים. Says the Gemara, כדכסיב, says the Rashbam rather, כדכסיב, צדיק כתמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יסגד. So a tzaddik is called a tree. We saw that a tree, Eitz Chaim, the Torah was a tree, the machazikim, but the ones that are machzik Torah, that help Torah be learned and teached and spread. But the tzaddikim themselves are also called a tree. So then it says, okay, Achla Armoav, Eid Armoav, Ki'ir, Shemahalech, Achar Ta'evaso, a town that goes after their desires, after their taiva. Zamalach achar Yitzro, after the Yitzro. Ki'ir zeh shemalach achar Sichanah. I like this city that goes after Sichanah, after propaganda and like nice and like beautiful speech, you know. Va'achla nami ha'esh gasei haruach. So the fire in the drasha that Moshe was teaching us, according to the Gemara, the fire is that they eat the gasei haruach. They eat the arrogant. Hamagbihin da'atan kibamos are known halalu, that they raise their das like these altars, which might have been idolatrous altars. When a person is arrogant, it's idolatrous, because what? Right? Eibishter is the only ratzon that's important. Our ratzon, well, we are chelik Eloha. We have to understand that we are chelik Eloha. I'm a chelik Eloha, Godzilla. I'm taking walks on the buildings of your willfulness coffin and taking off. I'm a motherfucking monster, like your depiction of God. So, the Gasei Aruach and the propagandists are one and the same. The propagandized, actually. The propagandists, I'm sure they're Gasei Aruach, I'm sure they're evil killers. The Elu Gasei Aruach, the Amar Mar Kol Adam Sheish Bo Gasei Aruach Nohu Beganim. The master says, we don't know who the master is, but everyone who has Gasei Aruach falls into Gehenna. Get that wet book cover out of here. Okay. So he says, Bale is Bale Gasos, right? Is arrogance. The Amar Mar Kol Hamagis Daito. Everyone who who makes himself, like he fattens his das, his awareness, or his intellect, or his, but he thinks he's so great. He thinks he is the center of the world because that's his default setting. He raises himself up over other people. So the Gemara says in Avodah Zarah, on your test, Amar Reish Lakish kol hamislotzeis no tefil b'Gehenna. Right, kol magis daiton of Gehenna, and Reish Lakish says that anyone who is mislotzeis, so what's a late? A late is someone who doesn't take things seriously, makes everything into a joke in order so that he doesn't have to take things seriously, make like big moves in life. He just makes everything into a joke. That's a late, and that's bad. But a badchen, someone who's like a jokester, it's a good thing. So you gotta know. Kolam is load says no anyone who just scoffs, doesn't take things seriously, falls into hell. And it's not like that's just what's gonna happen. He doesn't take things seriously, he thinks everything's fine. Maybe there's another shot also. There's someone who's mislotze, someone who says, "What are you crazy? You think the government would do such a thing to you?" Kolam is mislotze lo begehenam shenemar zayd yahir late shemo. So, an evil person who's arrogant, his name is a clown or late. The kolam is yahir nofil begehenam, and anyone who becomes arrogant also falls into Gehenna. Shenemar zayd yahir late shemo. They quote that pasuk also. Ose be'evras zadon. The rest of the pasuk they make when he goes veiter, maybe he does it on purpose. Ve'ein of evra or aveira, whatever that is. Ela Gehenna. There's no passing except for Gehenna. Wait a second. It's an interesting thing. Maybe it's ein aveira again, right? Be'evraz zadon. We used to see that pasuk. Shenemar yom evra ayomahu. So he uses that word evra, and it's talking about the day of judgment, day of Gehenna. I don't know. Avad cheshbono. So okay, man. So ilgasi arot. Amar kol m'sheish bogasus ruach no begehenna v'neiram. So that's the next pasuk, or the continuation. It says, V'neiram, in their candle, Amar Rasha Ein Ram. The Rasha says there's no height. What does that mean? Says the Rashbam. Doesn't say nothing. Okay. He says there's no Ram, maybe there's no Eivish. That's what he's saying. Avar Cheshbon. Cheshbon has been lost. Avod Cheshbon Shalom. They lost the ability to make a Cheshbon on the world. Ad Divon, until Divon. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Himtin Ad Sheyavo Din. Wait until there's Din V'nasim Ad Nefach, and that will put it on explosion. Ad Shetavo Eish. The fire that doesn't need. Okay, it's not talking about explosion. It's talking about flaming the fire, and so fire doesn't need that flaming. Let's see what the Rashbam says. It says like this. Avar cheshbono shel. It says avar cheshbono shel olam. Kilaymar leis din v'leis dayan. A time when there's no judge and there's no law and there's no judge. Kind of like in our time today. Ad nefach kilaymar. So why is he giving us all these kilaymars now? The Heilige Rabbeinu Shmuel. Kilaymar eish shenetufach shetinufach me'atzmo. Fire will explode from himself. Kedichsiv achluhu eish lo nefach. The fire that was not started or something. The fire that wasn't even, you didn't have to start the fire. People used to start fires with those things so sometimes fire could start without even anyone starting it. And that's ad nefach. Ad shetavo eish ein tzricha nifuach. You don't even have to blow it. Ad midva, until midva. Ad shetadiv nishmasan, until their souls were depressed, their neshama was depressed. And some say ad avad my debai, until they did what they needed to be done. See the Rashbam. Shetadiv nishmasan kimo divaon nefesh, like depression, by Eov, Mem Aleph. Velo adiv nafshecha, and Shmuel and Shmuel Aleph, Perik Beis. It says, don't be depressed, don't be adiv, or adiv is like, don't be like so, okay. So one word is da'ev, dalet aleph beis, and that means like depression. But then it says lo adiv nafshecha, and maybe it means the same thing, just with the aleph, with the aleph and the dalet switched, adiv da'iv. But in modern Hebrew, I think adiv means like doesn't care. But I'm blibing actually. Okay. Like someone's adiv, he's like doesn't care. Okay. Not interested, not affected. It's just adiv. Okay. Ad de avad. Right, that's the second pshat. So one pshat is that when it says ad mitzvah, it would be depressed. Or Amrillah, some say ad de avad my debai, until they do what's gonna come, what they need to do. What does that mean? Ad de avad, it says kuchabrichu, the Abishter does, who my debai does what he needs to do. Avid the Risham, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs to do. Hashem, do what you need to do. Avid the Rishayim La'ilam Haba. Oh, that's talking about in Olam Haba. The ilu b'Olam Hazeh, if it's Olam Hazeh, Darka Tzalcha. In Olam Hazeh, their path was successful. Kidei litarda min Olam Haba, in order to stare them from Olam Haba. Well, it's a good thing that now we are in the Yemos HaMashiach, and we are no longer in Olam Hazeh, where it was like so great for the Rishayim to get like such great stuff, and now everything's gonna be great for them, so that they get all the good for them in this world and not get in the next world. But we're in Yemos HaMashiach now, and so now we can take them down, because now they're not getting good. They're gonna get what's coming to them. Yom Adin around the corner. Ad de avad kutcha, right? Okay. Ad midva, ad tadinaj, and the other pshat. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Rav. Says Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Rav. Kol ha-porish midivrei Torah eish ach ochlaso. Oh, we're talking about fire eating? Let's talk about fire eating. Everyone who stops learning Torah, fire eats him. Shenemar v'natati panai bahem. And I put my face on them, or in them. Meha'esh yatsu v'ha'esh tochlem. From the fire it came, and the fire will eat them. We have to see what the Rashbam says. Ad darish le ad avad midva darish le. Exactly what I said. Wow. Ad darish le. Since they were talking about like the depression and the midva, and they're right darshan ad debai. And then they darshan it also what Hashem has to do to them in Lashon Katzar, right? That Hashem's going to destroy them. And they just say, okay, Me'esh Yatsu. So what does it mean? It says, Natati Panai Me'esh Yatsu. From the fire it went from Ve'esh Tochlam. So what does it mean, Me'esh Yatsu? It says, Mina Torah Pirshu Dichsiv. It says in Yirmiyahu, Chav Gimel, Ratza, or Dil, Reish Lamed Aleph, Tichsiv Rala Ka. Hello, oh, it's a hey. Okay. Hello, Kol. That's and then Ko. Divrei Kaish. Or maybe that's supposed to be a Lamed also. Hello, Kol. I don't know, I might be wrong, but I changed it in my sefer. Hello, Kol Divrei Kaish is not all my words like fire. Tichsiv, and it says Divarim Miminam Eish Das Lamo, right? In Devarim, it says Eish Das Lamai. So it says, and I put my face on them, and the Eish is going to go, if you stop learning Torah, because it's talking about being parish with the Torah. Are not all my words like fire, and you're being pirish, you're you're leaving from the Torah, the fire is going to eat you. Ki asa Rav Dimi, when Rav Dimi came back from Eretz Yisrael, we can go after Eretz Yisrael Bavel. We're thinking about where it does. Amar, he said, Kol haporesh mi atzmo midivrei Torah. Everyone who separates himself. The first case was Kol haporesh midivrei Torah. Everyone who separates from divrei Torah. The second thing there, Rav Dimi said, no, Eretz Yisrael, they're saying the Mishnah, they're saying the statement a little bit different. Kol haporesh atzmo midivrei Torah. Everyone who separates himself from divrei Torah, nova began falls again. Shenemar adam toeh miderech haseichel, a person that sways. That shifts, that moves, that slants. What's the word? Slides, or makes a mistake from the path of the wise, the path of the intellect. Strays. Thank you. Bekahal Rephaim Yanuach. He will be in a congregation of ghosts or giants. He will be in Rephaim, maybe like demons. What? Ve'ein Rephaim. Oh, thank you, Gemara. Ve'ein Rephaim ella Gehenna. Oh, what is Rephaim? It's actually Gehenna. It's hell. Shenemar. Because we have to see what Gehenna is. But Shenemar v'lo yada ki Rephaim sham. I didn't know that there were Rephaim over there. Be'imke Shaol Kuruya. It's talking about in the depths of Shaol, which is hell. It said, okay. It says the pasuk in Yirmiyahu. It says Rephaim be'imke Shaol. It says Kefel Lashonhu. So they had to make a drasha because it was like double. It was like double because you're saying Rephaim and then you're saying Imke Shahol, but it's the same thing. Rephaim is Imke Shahol, and therefore, you can make the drasha from Kal Rephaim Yanuach means you're going to be in hell if you porish Atzmo with Divrei Torah. Now we have to ask what's the difference between these things. One says porish Atzmo and one says porish Midivrei Torah. Once the Porish Atzmo Midivrei Torah, we saw the Rashbam. There is 3 minutes left in Shir. Should we see the Gra, or should we say goodbye to Wartime Zoomshteig? We're gonna see the Gra. We started right after October 7th, and we learned 181 Shirim in a row. And we got PASHUT in the Gemara, and all that's left is to see the Gemara. But today's Shir, so fast, and it's the Shir, it's the final Shir of Wartime Zoomshteig, 181 for 181. It should be a schus for the soldiers, a schus for the captives, talking about the captives of Sicha Noeh, the captives of the Yetzer Hara, the captives of the propaganda, and the soldiers trying to free them. Hopefully we'll have all the Wartime Zoomsteigs uploaded. And I was gonna quit and end Shir today and say that's it, Wartime Zoomsteig is ending today, and then whatever, maybe I'll just focus on uploading the Shiurim or doing other stuff, but I'm going to take a break. That's what I thought. But then we saw the end of this Gemara, and the Gemara says two Lashonos, Kol HaPorish Atzmo, Kol HaPorish Midivrei Torah, or Kol HaPorish Atzmo Midivrei Torah. And so the Gemara says that anyone who separates from Divrei Torah, he falls into hell. And so we can't fall into hell. But we were at 181 for 181 more times Zoomsteigs. We're done. Seifeh. The Eibishter will give us Siyata D'Shmaya to see the Gra and figure out what we're going to do tomorrow. Yeshiva's Gula Shol, Shteig and it's going to be Gevaldik, perfect time to end Wartime Zoomshteig. Thank you to everyone who was involved in the Wartime Zoomshteig. It was a big schos, 181 shiurim, 45 minutes a shiur. I wonder how much the days that comes out to, that we were sitting and steiging and toiling in Torah without a break. Kavias itim b'Torah, we were zeichet to get. Now we should be, and we were also zeichet to be Mekayim to Pia the Yeshua, and that we're looking for Geula. And Rav Kahana says that it also is the Maisas of like bringing the Geula is what HaKadosh Baruch is going to ask. And we should be zeichet to do it. We should be zeicha to have the Eibishter with us and to give us the Yad Shmaya and to figure everything out. Take down the Shibud, build the Beis HaMikdash. Build the Beis HaMikdash first, probably. The Beis HaMikdash was destroyed in the year 0069. According to what I saw online from Chabad.com. Org. Wikipedia.shibud said 70, but we're going with Chabad. 69. And Amir Hashem by 2069, in another 45 years, we will build the Beis HaMikdash. And we will not miss a day of Shir until then. Amir Hashem, the Eibishter gives us Yad Shmaya. And we're just getting started. Kol Tov, and see you guys tomorrow. Amir Hashem.
Shkaya.